Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you for the invitation to speak here today. Thank you to the organizers who arranged this day. And I want to thank you, President Motlanthe, for being here, and Professor Isaac. When you were appointed president, no, not you. Mr. President, when you were appointed president, one of my aunties, who is Muslim, she asked me, what is his name? I said, Khalema Motlanthe. She said, oh, Khalima. At last we have our first Muslim president. So it's good to be here. I want to acknowledge the presence of, I call him Bishop Thulani Ndlazi, here in front. Maybe you can just stand and everyone can see who you are. He is General Secretary of the United Congregational Church of Southern Africa. And the reason why I mention his name and him is because the United Congregational Church is the first and the only church synod in South Africa who have taken a resolution to support BDS. The only. And he brought with him a young man, Musa Mtsomi, over there. Musa is, one of these days he'll be a minister as well. And it's wonderful to see the young people coming into this movement at the moment. So it is good to be here with you and to share in this reflections on Palestine. I'm going to make a few statements that I think is important to make in this context here today. The first statement I want to make is that the church must take primary responsibility for what is happening in Palestine at the moment. The church must take primary responsibility. Why do I say that? Not many people know that Christian Zionism, in all its forms, is actually older, at least 50 years. It precedes Jewish Zionism by at least 50 years. And Christian Zionism, and I won't go into the detail of what that is, but it plays itself out in the local congregation where you are. We sing hymns, we read the Bible, and we mention the word Israel in all of this. And it equates the apartheid state of Israel with the biblical idea of Israel. It equates these two things very quickly. And you in the local congregation, you're not even aware of this. You use this word and you don't even realize what is happening. And so when a priest comes and he speaks about Palestine, it becomes a problem. Those of you who are Christian can maybe say, how many times the word Palestine has been used in your congregation? Probably very, very little, very few times. Very few times. And so one of the things I encourage people to do nowadays, besides anything else, just use that word Palestine on a Sunday. Just pray for Palestine. That's all you have to do. Don't do much more than that. Because we need to detoxify the Christian faith of this virus that has begun to inhabit it. It has given what Mitri Raheb calls, Mitri Raheb is a Lutheran pastor in Bethlehem, he calls it, we have given the software to support this military hardware. And we, the church, must acknowledge that. We have given that kind of software, ideological, theological justification. Now, thank God therefore, for something called Kairos Palestine. Thank God for Kairos Palestine. They have told us that they have drawn the inspiration from us in South Africa. You know, we had a Kairos document here in 1985. And of course, now we say to them, you have re-inspired us. Thank you that you were inspired by us, but we have now you have now re-inspired us. We can now again begin to talk about how something like empire has begun to infect our theology. And we have to find the necessary tools to disinfect, to detoxify theology in particular from this virus. Because if we don't, we are going to continue to do more or less what the Dutch Reformed Church did in this country, in South Africa. We are going to continue to give the theological and even ideological justification for the oppression of a people. That's what we are doing. One of our scholars in the US, Walter Brueggemann, is one of the most highly regarded Old Testament scholars. He was not even aware that he was doing this. And only when Mark Braverman, who is from Kairos, USA, made him aware of what he's doing, he began to say, I'm writing all these things about the Old Testament, but this in no way should justify the oppression of the Palestinian people. Some of us saw how when the United Nations Security Council passed the resolution at the end of last year, what did the Israeli ambassador do? He grabbed the Bible. What he did and what others continue to do, to say, is that God is an estate agent. God hands out certain pockets of land to certain people. In fact, not only is God an estate agent, God privatizes land, you know? It's completely against the idea of the earth is the Lord's. It's completely against the idea that we have stewardship over land. Completely against that idea. But the Old Testament prophets, as we have been inspired by the Jeremiahs, the Isaiahs, the Micahs, the Amos, we've been inspired by them. Someone said the other day they were the original self-hating Jews, because they were the ones who spoke out not against others, they spoke out against their own people and the sins of their own people. You know, you can criticize others, but the minute you begin to criticize your own people, to see what happens. They will turn against you. But we have begun to do that. And that's why I say, thank God for Kairos Palestine. Kairos Palestine supports BDS. Kairos Palestine believes in non-violence. Kairos Palestine has begun to be discussed by small little groups across the world. And those of you who don't understand the church, understand it this way, that everywhere in the world there's a little small group meeting. And if a small group, you sit in Tennessee somewhere, in a small town, or in Missouri, in a small town, you're part of a Lutheran congregation, you discuss a document called the Kairos Palestine document. Do you know what that does? If thousands, hundreds of thousands of these groups start talking about it, we begin to move things from below. I belong to the Anglican Church. Bishop Tutu is an Anglican Archbishop. But we know that even though we called on the Church of England to implement boycott, divestment and sanctions against apartheid South Africa, the Church of England refused to do so. Oh, they loved Archbishop Tutu. They loved his stories, you know. They loved having him there. But then he says to them, please, please, my people are suffering. Do something. And I remember going to Germany, and the women in Germany said, when we started boycotting South African goods, the bishops started withdrawing funds from us. But we, the women, we continued. And that's the same thing that happened with the church in England. People in the congregational level said, we will not buy those apples. We will take tomato sauce and throw it over those apples to show that this is the blood of the children of South Africa, black children of South Africa, who are suffering. So our appeal is to the ordinary people, to the person in the street. That's where our appeal goes to. And it will build the pressure from below. So I stand here today saying, first of all, the church must take responsibility. But saying, secondly, that the church has begun to take responsibility and really want to apologize to the Palestinian people that we haven't taken more responsibility. But the minute this giant called the church wakes up, you will know what happens. You will know what happens. It will be dispersed across the world, and across the world things will happen. And eventually, because we are a people of hope, the walls will come tumbling down. That is the hope. And so, today is Sunday. You are in church. This is a resurrection day. This is a resurrection moment. This is a moment of hope. Amen. Because we are sitting together, people here, Muslim, Christian. I'm an accidental Christian, actually. My forebears come from Java. My mother used to say, van die slawe van Java. And then if you interrogate that, you realize that the people from Java were Muslim. They arrived here. and they were forced into a particular kind of religion. So we must not be too, precious about our religion that we happen to hang on to. Our religion should lead us to justice. Our religion should lead us to solidarity. Our religion should lead us to peace. That's our religion. And so finally, one final word. The word peace sometimes, not sometimes, has been abused quite significantly. And it's important that we reclaim that word. And today we talk about a just peace. A just peace. Start talking about a just peace. So that we control the narrative of peace. So that we say, this is too precious. This is too important to leave to others to go and abuse in the peace process or whatever. It's important that we reclaim that word. And we South Africans, we know what we know about that. And we should take responsibility. Reclaim that word peace. And make sure that we talk about the just peace. May God bless you. Thank you.